The Undefeated is a 1969 Western starring John Wayne and Rock Hudson. John Wayne plays a Union colonel. Rock Hudson plays a Confederate colonel who that are fighting on opposite sides of the war. And the movie ends with this. I mean, it starts with a skirmish between John Wayne's men and these Confederate soldiers. And after they win the fight, this messenger arrives and tells them the war ended 3 days ago, so you can all go home now. And so they all go home. And John Wayne and his men they turn to cowboy and they round up these horses to sell to the U.S. government, but the U.S. Army's agents they try to cheat them out of their money. So not Wayne's character Colonel Thomas he decides to sell them to these Mexican people who are like representatives of the government of not Benito Juarez, Emperor Maximilian, the French Emperor of Mexico, and the time when France took over Mexico, and there's these Juarista rebels led by Benito Juarez who are fighting against him, and Colonel Langdon and his men, the Confederate colonel played by Rock Hudson, he takes his family and his men along with their families, and they head off to Mexico to fight for Emperor Maximilian, which is kind of weird because I mean he was a Confederate soldier rebelling against what he believed was an oppressive government, and now he's going to Mexico to fight for an oppressive government against rebels trying to defeat it. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. His character is based on a real soldier, Colonel Joe Shelby, who did flee to Mexico to, I think he did fight for Emperor Maximilian, but they told him no, we don't want your help, so he went back home, and the so this is sort of based on a true story, but the characters are fiction. And when the former Union and former Confederate soldiers meet while they're in Mexico, the John Wayne's men they save Colonel Langdon's men, Colonel Thomas, Colonel Langdon. Colonel Thomas's men saves Colonel Langdon's men from these bandits, and Colonel Thomas's adopted Native American son, Blue Boy, he falls in love with the Colonel's daughter, and the romantic subplot with them is nice. It's wholesome, and there are the action scenes in this are fun, and there's also another romantic subplot, even though there's no kissing or hugging involved like in the other one, where this one involves like John John Wayne's character Colonel Thomas and Colonel Langdon's sister-in-law, who used to be married to his Colonel Langdon's brother, who died in the war, and there's this big party scene that I love where they celebrate the Fourth of July, and then they reenact the war in this big brawl, but it's not really a mean like I hate you because you're my enemy brawl. Just a fun like basically a battle reenactment where they're all beating each other up, and Colonel Lang Colonel Langdon's sister-in-law, Charlotte, that's her name, Charlotte. She fires a gun up in the air to make it stop. She's, I want this stop now. And Colonel Thomas, he says, that ain't much like Philadelphia because his ex-wife left him to move to Philadelphia. Um, the yeah, and anyway, the Colonel Langdon and his men and their families they get kidnapped by this war-wasted general who wants holds them hostage and threatens to execute every one of them just because they're invaders of his country and they're gonna fight for his enemy. But I can understand him wanting to execute Colonel Langdon and his men, but I mean their entire families. I mean you're a psycho, and but he tells him, "You go to Colonel Thomas and you get these horses and bring them to me, and will set you free." So he goes back to Colonel Thomas and gets him to help him, but the two Mexicans that Colonel Thomas is going to give the horses to, they tell they get the French cavalry to try to stop them. This is a big battle where the Colonel Langdon and Colonel Thomas they all have Colonel their men they use these guns to gun down all these French soldiers who come at them with sabers, and the Colonel Langdon he uses a saber, so it's nice to have some swashbuckling action in it. And it's funny how like John Wayne uses a rifle as a club, like he's like knocking the soldiers off their horses as they ride toward. And then they arrive in time to deliver the horses and save the hostages. But when they drank a toast in honor of Benito Juarez with the Juarista general, but the rebel general I don't think he deserved that. I think he deserved to get his butt kicked or whatever, or at least have they could have just rode in there and stampeded the horses and caused a distraction and saved the family and leave. Because I mean, they didn't deserve all those horses after what they threatened to do. I mean, even if when he threatened to kill the women and children, including the men, maybe that was a bluff, but he never confirmed whether it was or not. Even when Colonel Thomas, he says you drive a hard bargain, and General Rojas says war is war, Colonel. You should know that. Yeah, but I mean, threatening to murder innocent people is not war. That's massacre. It's terrorism. But and so they all go back home to America, and Colonel Langdon says he wants to run for the House of Representatives, and Colonel Thomas he tries to. You think he's going to propose to Charlotte on the way over? That he says. Then one of his buddies starts playing a song on the harmonica. He says, "Play something else," and he starts playing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And one of the former Confederates says, "Not that one neither, Yank." So he plays Yankee Doodle Dandy, and everybody likes it. The song plays during the credits. That's my review of the. This is a good movie. That's great. Good action. The action's fun. The acting's good. Great cinematography. A great supporting cast, including Ben Johnson. I love Ben Johnson. Good direction by Andrew V. McLaughlin. He was a good director, and the chemistry between John Wayne and Rock Hudson. The witty banter about them when they're debating about the war, and do you think they're gonna fight in one scene? But it's like they share a drink together. Yeah, they just put the past behind them that quickly. But that was a fun scene. This is a good movie. I give it a thumbs up. All right, that's my review. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.